Good morning, guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is very random. It was something I was just inspired to make today, and I often get questions over on my Instagram about how I quote-unquote do it all, because people see that I am a mother, that I am a working mother. They see that I keep my house clean, organized, decluttered. They see that I prioritize my fitness and that I am in better physical condition now in my mid-30s than I was when I was a teenager or in my 20s. And I think that people don't always see a lot of work and life experience goes into developing the kind of life that you want for yourself and to getting where you want to be, and also a lot of learning and relying on other motivational people and authors and other people that have contributed and taught you things about how to live your best life. So anyway, I was just thinking about that today as I was paying my bills, and I decided to make a video for you about basically how I prioritize my health and my inner peace and maintain a sense of calm and happiness and kind of quote unquote do it all without being super stressed out. So this video is going to be things that make my life a little bit easier and help me stay organized as a busy working mom who also likes to stay fit and keep a clean, organized house. I prioritize fitness, self-care, and a clean home. And I'm going to give you my 10 main things that I do that I think help a lot. And then at the end, I'm going to talk to you about a few mindset things. I think the stuff at the end is actually more important or helpful than the stuff at the beginning of the video, but I'm going to try not to ramble too much, and I'm going to try to give you as much helpful information and like my main things that I think really contribute to me being able to be organized and relatively low stress, because trust me, I've been working at it for a few years. So if you guys are interested, then definitely stay tuned, get yourself a cup of coffee. As usual, I will not be sitting in front of the camera. This is going to be more of a listen to video. You can listen to it while you clean, you can listen to it while you go for a drive. If you have to commute to work, you can listen to it while you work out, have a bath, whatever you like to listen to, go to sleep at night. And with that, let's get into today's video. So one of the first things I do, which was the thing that kind of sparked this idea for today's video, is I pay my bills as soon as I get them. I don't ever let bills accumulate, because if I see them sitting on the counter day after day, all it does is it kind of is this like mini stress, this little tiny like mini stress in my brain, reminding me that, oh yeah, I have bills to pay. Oh yeah, I have to pay that bill. Oh yeah, I have to take care of that pile of stuff. So when it comes to paper mail, paper clutter, forms, documents, for example, if my daughter brings home a form from school that I have to fill out for a field trip or something, and then I get the power bill and I get the phone bill, all this stuff, I don't ever let them accumulate. I take care of those the day that they come through the door, unless for some reason the day has just been crazy busy. But essentially, I try to get it done as soon as possible and not let those things pile up. Just for the reasons that I said, when you walk past them and you see them sitting on the counter, all it does is cause you a little bit of stress and remind you that you have all these things you have to do, and that really prevents you from feeling at peace and happy and calm throughout your day. So take care of those little things as soon as they come through the door, or at least as soon as possible. And along with that comes trying to be thankful for the fact that you have bills, which can be hard to do and easier said than done, especially with inflation and with the way that the world is right now. Sometimes we get bills that are way higher than they ever were, and we think, what the heck, why is my bill so high? And then you get upset about it, stressed about it, then you start thinking about money, and you start thinking about being broke, and you start thinking about all these things. But just remember that if you are lucky enough to have food in the fridge and a roof over your head and running water and electricity, you are truly among the richest people on the planet. And there are people out there who would kill to have a power bill to pay. So just try to be thankful for the fact that yes, these can be problems, and yes, our financial situation on earth right now is not great, but it can always be worse. So try to pay your bills with gratitude. Pay them and say, I'm so grateful that I have power. I'm so grateful that I have internet, even though it costs so much. Try to do it from a place of gratitude. The next thing is kind of closely tied into point number 1, but it is to take care of errands when they're due rather than letting those tasks pile up. So for me, especially as a content creator, I get a lot of things sent to me, and I'm always trying new things. I'm getting new skincare, or I'm trying something new. So I often go to the post office. I've got things like that I have to do. I have donations. When I declutter, I have to drop off donations. Maybe I've got an oil change or something that I have to get done. So I try to take care of those kind of errands as soon as possible and not let them pile up, because if you go the entire week and you wait 7 or 10 days, by the end of those 10 days, now you don't just have 2 places you have to go to, now you maybe have 6 or 7 places you have to go. So I try to take care of errands as quickly as possible after I know that I have to do that thing so that it doesn't become overwhelming. Number 3 is I always make sure the dishes are done before I go to bed, and I don't leave messes in my house until the next day or until later. This is something I've also taught my daughter. A lot of people just cannot believe that even since she was a child, basically, my house has still always stayed pretty tidy and pretty neat. And it's because I've ingrained in her so much that after we're done with something, we put it away. After we've made a mess, we clean up. And even to this day, she's 13 years old, and she can go and bake a batch of muffins literally, and I will not know she was in the kitchen because she has learned that after you make a mess, you clean it up. And so this is just something I do. The same thing goes for laundry. I never let laundry sit there and not be put away for like a week at a time. I always try to get the laundry folded, hung up, and put away within 24 hours of washing. But just in general, once it's done drying, because I do hang my clothes to dry, a lot of them, after that, I put them away. I don't let them sit around because similar to the bills needing to be paid, it will just be one of those things that stresses me out thinking about, oh yeah, I have to put the laundry away. It'll just be one more thing on the top of my mind, reminding me that I have things I have to do, and that takes away from your ability to relax and be stress-free. So taking care of little errands, whether it's outside the home, inside the home, making sure the dishes are done before you go to bed so that you wake up to a nice clean house and you don't wake up to a sink full of dirty dishes, really helps contribute to my sense of calm and inner peace. Another thing that I do that's just a daily habit is I always make the bed first thing in the morning, just because I find that if the bed is made, the rest of the room looks clean, and my room is clean anyway for the most part. It rarely gets messy unless I just received a bunch of stuff in the mail and I'm trying things on or trying things out or organizing things, but for the most part, my bedroom is pretty much always clean and tidy. But if the bed isn't made, the whole room looks unclean and untidy, and it just makes me feel so happy, as I think a lot of us feel when you walk into the bedroom and the bed is nicely made and looks sort of like hotel vibes. It's just really nice. And I just love the way my bedroom looks. I've worked really hard to get the bedroom designed in a way that I really enjoy, with the type of minimalist decor that I enjoy. And I just love the way that my room looks when my bed is made. So I just make it first thing in the morning, and that really sets the tone for the rest of the day, especially if I'm spending the day at home or if I have to go to work, because I do work as a nurse. When I come home after 12 hours or 13 hours, it's nice to be able to crawl into a made bed. There's something about crawling into a made bed that feels so much better than crawling into a heap of sheets that are just messy and all over the place. So yeah, making sure the bed is made every single day, small of a thing as it may seem, really makes a huge difference. Number 5 is I prioritize fitness and physical activity. Fitness has been important to me for a really long time. I discovered the gym and weight training when I was 24 years old, and it really changed my life. You guys, I could talk about it for hours, the benefits of weight training and being physically active and being fit. But I am a better mom, a better girlfriend, a better daughter, a better nurse, a better person in general, a happier person when I prioritize my own physical fitness and health. And if I let this go, everything else suffers. I notice that if I have a really busy week and for some reason I don't make it to the gym as often as I'd like, my mood and everything just suffers. I just feel more down in the dumps. I feel more stressed. It's just a part of me that's so important. And you have to remember that you can't help other people or contribute to the world if you yourself are empty. Your cup has to be full. So you do have to be a little bit selfish. People, this word selfish has such a negative connotation. People think, oh, well, you're only thinking about yourself. That's not the case, but we do have to think about ourselves, because if you don't put yourself first, nobody else will. You have to prioritize your health and your fitness and your well-being. You have to prioritize your happiness. You have to make sure that you're doing what you can do to make yourself feel full. And for me, a huge part of that is being physically fit and active. I just feel better when I move. I feel better when I look more toned and physically fit, and when I feel stronger. I feel better when my clothes fit better. I feel better when I eat healthy. So this is something that's really important to me. It seems counterintuitive, like how can you lower your stress and also make it such a priority to go to the gym? But it's actually very intertwined. I just make it a priority to get in at least 45 minutes of physical activity every day, whether that's cardio or weight training, and it makes a huge difference in my life. Number 6 is a little easier said than done, but it's something you have to be really cognizant about and really work on. and that is ridding my life of toxic people and energy vampires. So this is an ongoing process, and I can't overstate the importance of the power of the influences in your life, the people you spend time with, the people you communicate with, and the people that you talk to on a regular basis. You become a lot like the people you spend your time with, and the tonality of people and the way that they talk, the language that they use, their worldview, the way that they live their life rubs off on you, and it impacts you, and you don't realize it, but it really takes a toll on your mental energy and your sense of happiness. So I keep my circle very, very small. I don't have a whole lot of people that I talk to on a regular basis, and I'm very careful with who I let into my inner circle and the type of information I share with those people, and the closeness or the level of intimacy with which I allow them to get to me, because I'm hyper aware of the way that people make me feel and the impact of certain people on my life. So one example is there is an individual that unfortunately I do have to communicate with. There's nothing I can do about that. And occasionally this person is very rude, they're very crass, and they can be a little verbally abusive. So because of that, I've decided that going forward, I will only communicate with that person via email, because this way we can still communicate about what has to be communicated about, but it reduces the time that I have to hear their voice. It reduces the words I have to hear. It reduces the tone I have to listen to and the energy. I'm really big into people's energy. And this person is just a ball of negative, horrible, toxic energy, and I will not allow that into my life. I will not listen to that person. Another example is like, you don't have to be friends with everybody. You can care about somebody, but you don't have to be friends with that person. You don't have to associate with them on a regular basis. And my next point, which kind of ties into this, is I left Facebook. Leaving Facebook was something I had been toying around doing for a long time, and I finally bit the bullet and did it during 2020 for numerous reasons. But all the stuff going on in 2020 kind of put the nail in the coffin in terms of realizing just how toxic of an environment Facebook is. And there's some people who are just not meant to be in your life. If people are not in your immediate life to begin with, if they don't talk to you on a regular basis on the phone, and you're not close with them, there's probably a reason that you're not. It is not natural to constantly be in touch with hundreds of people. It is not natural. Before social media, you had your bubbles, you had your friends, you had your coworkers, you had your family, and some of those people would be closer to you than others, and the people that you were close with, you would actually spend physical time with, you would talk to, you would pick up the phone and call them, you would physically show them pictures of your family vacation. It is not natural for hundreds of people to have a front row center seat of what your house looks like, what you had for lunch, what your vacation was like, your baptism of your child, or whatever the case is. This is not natural. Social media has a really bad impact on people's health. And if I did not have YouTube, I would not have Instagram. Before I had Instagram, I had a lot more inner peace. I'm going to say it, because once you open your world up to social media, you open yourself up to the ideas, the opinions, the judgments of everybody who quote unquote follows you. And in a nutshell, this is something I could talk about in another video at length, but leaving Facebook was one of the best things I ever did for myself. Was it difficult? Yes, because social media is designed to be addictive. So it took a few times, but finally, probably about the fourth or fifth time that I deleted my account, it stuck, and I have not gone back. And even now, if I do for some reason open an account because I want to use Facebook Marketplace or something, I want to sell something, or I want to look for a treadmill, or whatever the case is, even now logging on for a minute, I just get this instant like sucker punch to the gut of disgust of, oh yeah, this is why I left. And it's something you don't realize until you live without it. I feel really bad for today's generation, because they will not know what it's like to grow up without social media. They won't know what it's like to grow up without seeing Kim Kardashian's face plastered everywhere. And that's really sad. It does have consequences. It does have implications. Being on social media and being constantly attached to the rest of the world and to other people all the time, it's not good for your mental health. So leaving Facebook, that's part of getting rid of toxic people, getting rid of energy vampires, getting rid of distraction, getting rid of things that are feeding you crap, feeding your mind garbage, instead of focusing on yourself and building something for yourself. So that all kind of ties in together. I could talk about that at length. I won't in this video, in the effort of keeping this video short, but basically being aware of your influences. Number 7 is I monitor my internal dialogue. So this is something related to cognitive behavioral therapy. It's something that Unless you've learned about this, you're probably not aware that you're even doing it, and maybe you're not trying to do things to correct it. But basically, you become what you think about all day long. You bring about what you think about, and your thoughts determine your feelings and your energy and ultimately the circumstances of your life. So be careful with the type of dialogue that you have inside. If you catch yourself having negative thoughts, whether it's catastrophizing or criticizing yourself or comparing yourself to someone else or looking at some picture you saw on Instagram and thinking about how they have a perfect nose because it was altered with surgery and then they put a filter on their picture, and then thinking about your own nose. If you have thoughts like that, again, that comes back to your influences. Should you really be scrolling Instagram if that's the type of thing that's happening when you open your Instagram? Ruminating about something that's bad that happened, or worrying about something incessantly, ruminating about things. Catch yourself and try to correct these thoughts. So this could be a video all on its own, but essentially I try to be mindful of what I'm thinking and what I'm telling myself all day long, because your attitude truly does shape the course of your day. You attract into your life the things that you focus on the most. So watching your internal dialogue and trying to have a positive mindset and trying to look at things from a positive point of view is hugely important. Number 9 is I create little spaces of peace and beauty and joy within my life every single day. For example, that first cup of coffee in the morning, I love that I'm making a cup of coffee in my kitchen, which is nice and clean because remember I did the dishes the night before. So I've set myself up this perfect space that's beautiful, clean, organized, and then I have this gorgeous cup of coffee. I put my collagen powder in my coffee, a little bit of self-care sprinkled in there, and then I sit down and enjoy my breakfast. That's also maybe listening to upbeat music when I go to the gym. Going to the gym is actually super fun for me. I love it. It gets me moving. I get natural endorphins. I listen to really upbeat, positive, happy pop music or whatever it is, and it just makes me feel super good. I take a lot of joy in my skincare. I love doing my skincare. So while I'm washing my face, while I'm applying my serums, my moisturizers, the whole thing, I make it like a whole ritual. It's a whole experience and I love it. And I get to do that first thing in the morning and every night before I go to bed. So make yourself little spaces of beauty, whether that's in the car in the morning on your way to work, you grab yourself your coffee, or you make your coffee at home and you listen to something on the way to work in the morning, whether that's music that you like or a podcast that's uplifting or whatever. You have to find little ways to make little spaces of joy for yourself throughout the day. You have to remember that your life is made up of a whole bunch of little moments, not a few big ones. So you shouldn't be hating your life Monday to Friday and wishing for the weekend and wishing for the day to be done, because we only get 2 days off during the week if you work Monday to Friday. We only get a few times during the year, or maybe once during the year, or some people don't even get that, of a vacation, going away for a few days, going to a beach, doing something nice for yourself, going traveling. So most people don't have that constant luxury lifestyle. So you have to create a life that you like for yourself. You have to have little moments every single day that are blissful, because you can't just be wishing away 90% of your life waiting for that 10%, basically wishing your life away, waiting for the clock to tick, waiting for those hours to go by. What a waste. We only have one life. You only have one shot at happiness on this planet. So you have to make your life great every single day. And number 10 is another kind of tangible thing that I do, which is keeping the house clean pretty much all the time. My house rarely gets messy or dirty, and if it does, I clean it up right away, pretty quickly. So this sounds like extra work. So when people say, well, you're trying to reduce your stress, why would you put that pressure on yourself to keep your house clean? It's because if I keep my space clean and tidy and organized, it reduces mental clutter and reduces stress. So even though, it's work in and of itself to clean the house, wipe down the counters, vacuum the floors, I actually enjoy the process because it's immediately rewarding. Like seeing my clean countertops and seeing the dishes put away and seeing the floors be clean and having a clean, organized space around me all the time is immediately rewarding, and it makes me feel so much better about myself. Yeah, you have to put in some work. It's the same thing as working out at the gym. Yeah, getting your shoes on, going to the gym and actually working out is work, but again, it's immediately rewarding and it becomes addictive. That sense of dopamine and that sense of satisfaction that you get from actually putting in work and accomplishing things and building a life for yourself is so much better than the dopamine you're going to get from posting a photo of yourself in a bikini on Instagram and getting likes. So look for ways to create your own highs. Make yourself high at home. Make yourself high in your day-to-day life. So with those 10 things out of the way, those are 10 main things that I think really contribute to my sense of inner peace and well-being. And now I'm just going to go over just a few other points that I think are helpful that I thought about while I was creating this video. So I want to introduce you to the idea of an asterisk. So all of us know what an asterisk is. It is that little crisscross star thing that people use when you're reading a book. And what it means essentially is that there is a caveat. There is an aside. There is something more information necessary, or an explanation, or a catch, some sort of a catch. So I want you to become aware of the asterisk in your life. This could be anything in your life. The asterisk is obviously a metaphor. So it means, for example, I'm doing pretty well, but life is good, but I'm happy, but. So this asterisk could be anything. For me, it could be getting those bills paid. If they sit there and remain undone, that in itself is an asterisk. So the asterisk for you is what's preventing you from having that complete and total inner peace and joy. Something that is undone and continues to linger and bother you. So what is your asterisk? If you have to deal with something big like a government document or doing your taxes, that would also be an asterisk, because until it's done, it's lingering on the side of your head, reminding yourself that, shoot, I still have to fill out those forms. Shoot, I still have to make a student loan payment. The dishes aren't done. I have to have this hard conversation with a family member. I've been meaning to lose weight and I haven't lost weight. I'm still smoking. I'm trying to quit smoking. My friends are toxic. They want me to go out drinking with them all the time. Like, there's always this thing. What is that thing for you that is your asterisk, that if you dealt with it, the way that you feel would be so much better in your life? All of us have some sort of something hanging over our heads in the back of our mind that we're not done. So essentially, I try to deal with these things in a timely manner, whether it's a big thing or a small thing. And another tip that I have is, if you can't deal with that thing right away, like for example, maybe you have some sort of pending court date coming up and, maybe you're going through a divorce or something like that that's coming up that is kind of stressful. Or maybe you have something you have to do, a whole bunch of things you have to do the next day. Put them down on paper, get them off your mind, because if you don't put things down on paper, then you are left trying to constantly remind yourself and constantly reminding yourself of all these things you have to do and all these stressful things that are coming up. So put them down on paper. Get them off of your mind. Putting them on paper doesn't mean you're forgetting about it. It just means that, okay, it has to happen. You've got to do it. It has to get done, and you're going to do it. That's why you wrote it down. But now you can go about your day, your life, those other moments, doing other things that are good for you, caring for yourself, and living your normal day-to-day life. So keeping a book beside the bed at night is really helpful for this. If you're lying in bed at night and you think, oh shoot, there's that thing I have to do tomorrow, I forgot about that. Don't tell yourself with this big exasperated sigh like, oh, I have to remember to do this thing tomorrow, I can't forget about this thing. Put it down on paper in your journal and then go to sleep. It's on paper. If it's on paper, it's as good as done. So this is another thing that's really important, is if you write things down, you are 10 times more likely to accomplish things than people who don't write things down. People who write things down and have to-do lists and write down their goals and write down their dreams are 10 times more successful than people who do not do these things. So for me, I always think about it in terms of, if I write it down, it's as good as done. If I write it down on my to-do list, it's as good as done. And then I don't have to stress about it. So for example, today I have a few things I want to do, including making this video. I have to clean the house. I want to go to the gym. I want to wash my hair. And I also have to make chicken and potatoes later. I have to meal prep. That's a lot of things to do. And if I don't write down those things, then all day long, my mind is just going, oh shoot, I have to meal prep. Oh shoot, I have to go to the gym. Oh, I still haven't gone to the post office. I still haven't cleaned the house. All day long, my brain is like feeling stressed, and then I'm projecting that stress onto other people, and I'm complaining and I'm cranky, and my family takes that brunt. If I write that down on paper, it's fine. It's as good as done. As you go throughout the day, go back and cross out the things that you've done. Checking these things off of your list gives you a natural rush of dopamine, makes you feel confident, and it makes you believe in yourself. It makes you believe that you can accomplish hard things. It makes you believe that you can accomplish other things too. Writing things down is super important, because not only then will you not forget the important things, you will also reduce your immediate sense of stress because you're putting that thing on paper instead of carrying it in your brain. And you'll also become 10 times more productive than most people you know. When I was younger, when I was a teenager and in my early 20s, I actually lived through poverty. I pulled myself up from poverty. I put myself through school, and I've pretty much designed a life for myself that is amazing. It's not because I got lucky. It's not because anybody handed me anything. It's not because I just was one of these blessed people. It's because I worked hard and I really did what I needed to do to overcome obstacles in my life. And I started using vision boards, and I started writing out dream lists and goal lists, and I started making use of to-do lists, and I read books that were really inspirational, and these things just really changed my life. So hopefully this video was helpful for you guys. I hope that it gave you a few tips, and maybe it helped make you think differently about the way that you view the way that you think, the way that you behave, your life. I hope that it inspired you a little bit to make some positive changes. These types of videos, when I make them, don't tend to do as well as some of the other videos, like when I'm talking about perfumes or things like that. But I think that they're really important, and even if they help one person, then I'm happy to have made the video because it's something I'm very passionate about. And yes, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys all very soon in my next one. Bye for now.